In the quiet rhythm of life, a question stirs beneath the surface. What unseen force shapes our destiny with such precision? Karma, in its deepest essence, is more than a spiritual idea. It's the silent architect of our existence. Every thought you entertain, every action you take, sends ripples across the vast fabric of the universe, shaping not only your future, but the world around you. Picture it as a river, fluid, ever-changing, where every choice you make is a stone cast into its current. Unlike rigid laws of nature, karma evolves with you. It offers redemption, growth, and transformation. A single act of kindness can ignite waves of compassion. A moment of anger can echo far beyond its origin. You are not just reacting to life, you are co-creating it. So what happens when we violate the most sacred karmic law of all? Before you take another step, ask yourself, are you carrying karma that was never yours to bear? Let's uncover the truth that could shift your entire path. 1. The myth of Atlas, a lesson in karmic boundaries. In the intricate tapestry of spiritual wisdom, one truth shines with piercing clarity. You are not meant to bear the burdens that belong to others. This sacred principle, often obscured by the noise of obligation or misplaced compassion, reminds us that every soul must carve its own path through the crucible of its karma. To explore this profound truth, we turn to the ancient myth of Atlas, a story not merely of strength, but of the peril of carrying what was never yours to hold. In the primordial clash between gods and titans, Atlas stood as a towering figure, a titan whose strength was matched only by his loyalty to his kin. He was not a reckless warrior driven by personal ambition, but a steadfast ally, bound by duty to a collective cause. Yet, when the tides of victory turned, and Zeus ascended to dominion, Atlas was singled out, not for any singular crime, but for his association with the defeated. His punishment was as cruel as it was symbolic, to bear the weight of the heavens on his shoulders, an eternal task that belonged not to him, but to the cosmic order itself. This image of Atlas, stooped beneath the crushing expanse of the sky, muscles straining under an unearned burden, resonates far beyond the realm of myth. It is a haunting reflection of a spiritual misstep many of us make, absorbing the karmic debts of others. Whether driven by love, guilt, or a savior's instinct, we take on their pain, their unresolved wounds, their consequences, believing we are helping. But karma, like a river, follows its own course. Each soul is the architect of its energetic debts and the sole mason of its resolution. To step into this sacred process is to disrupt the divine rhythm, not only stalling our own growth but also robbing others of the lessons their souls are destined to learn. Atlas's burden is not one of heroism, but of misalignment. His story reveals the cost of carrying what belongs to another, a life spent in service to a weight that offers no redemption, only depletion. In our own lives, how often do we mirror this titan? We shoulder the emotional turmoil of a loved one, absorb the fallout of someone else's choices, or carry the expectations of a community, all under the guise of compassion. Yet this is not compassion. It is a subtle betrayal of our own spiritual sovereignty. By taking on what is not ours, we dilute our energy, cloud our purpose, and invite resentment to take root. Worse, we deny others the opportunity to confront their own karma, stunting their evolution as surely as overprotecting a seedling prevents its growth. The myth of Atlas is not a call to indifference but a summons to discernment. True compassion does not demand self-sacrifice. It fosters empowerment. To walk beside someone, to offer guidance or love, is a sacred act. But to take their burdens as your own is to violate the soul's autonomy, both theirs and yours. Atlas's story asks us to pause and reflect. What weights do I carry that were never mine? Whose heavens am I holding aloft, and at what cost to my own journey? These questions are not accusations but invitations to reclaim our energy and realign with our purpose. Consider the broader implications of this myth in our interconnected world. In families, workplaces, or communities, the impulse to fix or save others is pervasive. We see a parent carrying a child's unresolved guilt, a partner absorbing the other's anger, or a friend exhausting themselves to shield another from accountability. These acts, though born of care, often lead to spiritual fatigue, fractured boundaries, and a diminished sense of self. The karmic law is uncompromising. Growth comes through facing one's own consequences. By intervening, we may delay the very transformation we wish to support. Yet, the lesson of Atlas is not without hope. It is a call to liberation. To lay down the burdens of others is to reclaim your strength, to redirect your energy toward the path your soul was meant to tread. It is an act of courage, requiring us to trust that others, too, have the resilience to carry their own skies. In this trust lies true compassion, a compassion that honors the divine design, empowering rather than enabling. Let the myth of Atlas be both a mirror and a beacon. Let it reveal the weights you've carried out of habit or obligation, and let it guide you toward freedom. As you release what is not yours, you step lighter, clearer, and more aligned with your soul's purpose. In a world that often equates love with sacrifice, Atlas reminds us that true strength lies not in enduring unnecessary burdens, but in walking our path with clarity, purpose, and the wisdom to let others do the same. 2. Honoring the sacred line, the perils of carrying another's karma. In the vast interconnected web of existence, each soul is a unique strand, pulsing with individual purpose and shaped by the choices that define its journey. While we are bound together in the universal dance of cause and effect, the karma of each being remains distinctly their own, a sacred imprint of their thoughts, actions, and intentions. To blur these boundaries by taking on another's karmic load, even with the purest intentions, is to disrupt a divine order, leading to spiritual disarray for both the giver and the receiver. Karma is not a burden to be shirked or a sentence to be evaded. It is a profound teacher, guiding each soul toward growth and self-realization. When we attempt to shoulder the consequences of another's actions, whether driven by love, duty, or a desire to shield them from pain, we interfere with this sacred process. Imagine a gardener who, out of pity, lifts a seedling from its soil to spare it the struggle of breaking through the earth. The seedling, deprived of its natural effort, fails to develop the strength needed to thrive. Similarly, when we absorb another's karma, we hinder their evolution, denying them the lessons that are theirs alone to learn. This act of overreach creates ripples of imbalance that extend beyond the individual we seek to help. The weight of carrying responsibilities or emotional debts that are not ours distorts our own spiritual equilibrium. It manifests as exhaustion, inner turmoil, or a creeping sense of resentment as we grapple with burdens that do not align with our soul's purpose. Our own karmic lessons, meant to unfold with clarity and intention, become entangled in the narratives of others, clouding our path and stunting our growth. Consider a parent who, out of fierce love, constantly intervenes to resolve their child's conflicts or mistakes. While the intention is to protect, this pattern prevents the child from developing resilience and accountability. The parent, meanwhile, becomes drained, their energy depleted by a cycle of worry and over-involvement. What began as an act of care transforms into a spiritual misstep, obstructing both the child's growth and the parent's inner peace. In the workplace, the same dynamic plays out when a team member habitually covers for a colleague's errors, only to find themselves overwhelmed and unrecognized, while the colleague remains stunted by a lack of accountability. Spiritually, this interference disrupts the divine architecture of each soul's journey. Every individual is navigating a path meticulously crafted by the universe, with challenges and triumphs designed to foster transformation. To alter this blueprint, even with compassion, is to rewrite a story that was never ours to edit. It risks delaying or derailing the soul's progress, creating confusion where there should be clarity, and stagnation where there should be evolution. True compassion lies not in rescuing others from their karma, but in honoring their sovereignty as they navigate it. This means offering support through listening, sharing wisdom, or providing guidance when sought, while maintaining the sacred boundaries that allow each soul to face its own lessons. Boundaries are not barriers that separate us. They are luminous lines that preserve the integrity of each journey, ensuring that growth unfolds as intended. To hold space for another's struggles without absorbing them is an act of profound respect, acknowledging their strength and their right to their own path. This principle extends to our relationship with ourselves. By refusing to carry what is not ours, we reclaim the energy and clarity needed to engage fully with our own karmic lessons. We cultivate a state of spiritual alignment where our actions reflect our truth and our growth flows unimpeded. In doing so, we model for others the power of self-ownership, inspiring them to embrace their own journeys with courage and accountability. Ultimately, the greatest act of love is to empower others to confront, learn from, and transcend their karma. By stepping back, we allow the divine rhythm of cause and effect to unfold, trusting that each soul is equipped to navigate its path. In this sacred act of restraint, we foster not only their transformation, but also our own, weaving a tapestry of existence where every thread shines with purpose, clarity, and boundless potential. 3. The sacred art of boundaries, compassion as presence, not entanglement. In the intricate dance of spiritual evolution, one of the most profound yet frequently overlooked lessons is recognizing the sacred line where your soul's responsibility ends and another's begins. This discernment is not about detachment or indifference. It is about honoring the divine sovereignty of each soul's journey. While our interconnectedness weaves us into a shared tapestry, every individual is entrusted with a unique curriculum of lessons, challenges, and awakenings. To step into another's karmic path, even with the purest intentions, risks disrupting the sacred process through which their soul must grow. Compassion, when misapplied, can morph into entanglement, a subtle but significant misstep. You might feel compelled to shoulder someone's burdens, resolve their spiritual struggles, or shield them from pain, believing this to be an act of love. Yet such actions can inadvertently deprive them of the very experiences their soul has chosen for its transformation. True compassion is not about rescuing or erasing discomfort. It is about standing beside others with unwavering presence, offering love without control, and supporting without assuming their karmic duties. It is the art of being a witness, not a fixer. To hold space for another is a sacred calling, one that demands patience, humility, and a deep trust in the resilience of the human spirit. It means resisting the urge to impose solutions or rush another's process, instead offering guidance only when sought and reflecting their truth like a clear mirror. Holding space is not about pulling someone from their struggles, but about affirming their capacity to navigate them. Like a gardener who tends the soil but trusts the seed to sprout in its own time, you nurture without forcing, allowing the natural rhythm of growth to unfold. There is immense wisdom in restraint, in allowing others the freedom to stumble, to grapple, and to rise through their own strength. This act of stepping back is not abandonment. It is a profound act of faith in their inner power and the divine intelligence of their path. By honoring their autonomy, you also safeguard the integrity of your own journey, preserving your energy for your own lessons and growth. Empowerment arises not from taking on another's load, but from living as a beacon of possibility, inspiring others to rediscover their own light. This delicate balance is the essence of karmic integrity: serving without overstepping, loving without enmeshing, and trusting without controlling. To walk this path requires courage. The courage to release the need to fix, to let go of the impulse to save, and to embrace the beauty of each soul's unique unfolding. In doing so, you embody a compassion that uplifts without entangling, a presence that honors both the individuality and interconnectedness of all beings. This is the sacred art of boundaries, where true spiritual service begins. 4. Sacred boundaries. The art of compassionate presence without entanglement. There exists a delicate, almost imperceptible line between offering support and absorbing the burdens of others. Mastering this spiritual boundary is not about withdrawing from connection, but about embracing a deeper wisdom, one that allows us to uplift others without merging with their karmic paths. True help does not mean shouldering someone else's lessons, nor does compassion require us to dissolve into their struggles. The sacred art of this practice lies in discerning when to extend a hand and when to stand firm in our own light, preserving the integrity of both our journey and theirs. This boundary is not merely a philosophical concept. It is a cornerstone of spiritual vitality. When we overstep, intervening too deeply or too often, we risk blurring the energetic distinction between self and other. This can stunt another's growth by shielding them from the lessons their soul is meant to learn, while simultaneously depleting our own reserves. Every individual carries a unique divine blueprint, a curriculum crafted for their evolution. To interfere with misplaced responsibility is to disrupt a sacred narrative that is not ours to rewrite. By honoring this truth, we allow others to navigate their paths while safeguarding our own. Far from being barriers, spiritual boundaries are conduits of clarity and love. They are not rooted in indifference but in a conscious commitment to the sovereignty of each soul. Picture a lighthouse, steadfast, unwavering, casting its beam across turbulent waters without plunging into the waves. Similarly, we can guide others through our presence, our empathy, and our example, without becoming consumed by their storms. These boundaries act as energetic filters, allowing compassion to flow freely while shielding us from energies that do not align with our purpose. They ensure that our inner light remains undimmed, our mission unclouded by entanglements that could pull us off course. Central to this practice is the recognition that self-care is not a luxury, but a sacred duty. It is not self-indulgence, but stewardship of the divine vessel we inhabit. To neglect our own needs, whether for rest, reflection, or solitude, is to diminish our capacity to serve authentically. A nourished spirit radiates a healing presence, one that uplifts others without effort. When we prioritize our inner harmony, our very existence becomes a source of transformation, a quiet invitation for others to seek their own alignment. This phenomenon often manifests as the silent influence. By embodying integrity, discernment, and inner peace, we become beacons of possibility. Others are inspired not by what we do for them, but by the way we live, rooted in purpose, balanced in energy, and clear in intention. Unlike direct intervention, which can foster dependency, this subtle influence empowers others to rise of their own accord, sparked by our example yet fueled by their own will. It is a gift that respects their autonomy while illuminating their potential. Consider the archetype of the family peacemaker, a role many spiritually inclined souls adopt instinctively. The desire to heal rifts and soothe pain is noble, yet over time, the weight of this responsibility can erode personal serenity and drain vital energy. By perpetually resolving others' conflicts, we may inadvertently rob them of the growth that comes from facing their challenges directly. Sometimes the most profound act of love is to step back, trusting that discomfort is often the crucible for transformation. In doing so, we honor the divine timing of each soul's journey. Saying no is another expression of spiritual maturity. It is not a rejection but a realignment, an act of love for both self and other. When we decline requests that overextend our capacity, we create space. Space for others to discover their own strength, and space for ourselves to remain grounded in our truth. This boundary, infused with respect and clarity, reinforces a sacred principle. We are companions on the journey, not carriers of another's load. With practice, setting boundaries evolves from a conscious effort into a spiritual instinct, honed through reflection, experience, and attunement to our inner guidance. It becomes a dance of balance, allowing us to engage with the world without being consumed by it. This practice reminds us that serving others and honoring our own path are not mutually exclusive but interwoven threads of a greater tapestry. By moving with intention, we offer love without losing ourselves, service without sacrificing our sacred center. These principles anchor a life of awakened presence. They call us to act not from obligation but from alignment, to give with discernment rather than compulsion. By cultivating these boundaries, we not only protect our own journey from the weight of misplaced burdens, we contribute to the elevation of the collective. When each soul is empowered to face their own karma, the entire web of existence grows stronger, more radiant, and more divinely attuned. This is your sacred invitation, to give with wisdom, to lead through your being, and to honor the energy that sustains your light. In doing so, you embody your highest purpose, not as a savior, but as a luminous soul, fostering collective ascension through your unwavering commitment to personal alignment. 5. Cultivating good karma through intentional living. In the intricate web of existence, where every life intersects and influences countless others, karma emerges not as a distant spiritual concept, but as a practical guide for navigating life with purpose, mindfulness, and compassion. Originating in ancient Eastern philosophies, karma underscores a universal truth. Every thought we nurture, every word we utter, and every action we undertake sends subtle vibrations into the cosmos. These vibrations shape our future, weaving the unseen fabric of our destiny with precision and inevitability. At the heart of cultivating good karma lies intentional living, a deliberate choice to engage with life consciously, breaking free from the haze of routine to act with clarity and care. This practice transcends merely avoiding harm. It invites us to harness our potential to foster positivity in the world. Choosing empathy over indifference, patience over haste, or generosity over self-interest transforms us into catalysts for change. A simple act, like offering a warm smile to a passerby or lending a hand to someone in distress, plants a seed in the universe's fertile ground, destined to blossom into moments of connection, harmony, and hope. Yet, good karma is not reserved for grand, sweeping gestures. It is often born in the quiet beauty of everyday moments. The tone we use with a loved one, the attention we give to a colleague's words, or the decision to pause and breathe before responding in anger. These seemingly small choices carry profound weight. Karma teaches us that no moment is too trivial to shape our path. Each interaction becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of our legacy, reflecting the intention we bring to it. To walk this path authentically, we must cultivate 3 interwoven pillars: wisdom, focus, and ethical conduct. Wisdom reveals the fleeting nature of life's dramas, guiding us to prioritize what holds lasting value over transient desires. It sharpens our ability to discern truth amid life's complexities. Focus, honed through practices like meditation or mindful presence, steadies our minds, anchoring us to our deepest intentions despite the pull of distractions. Ethical conduct aligns our actions with principles of kindness, integrity, and respect, ensuring that our choices ripple outward with positive impact. Together, these pillars empower us to live not reactively, but reflectively, each decision infused with awareness of its karmic consequences. Equally vital is the practice of self-compassion and self-care, which is not a luxury but a cornerstone of meaningful living. Far from selfishness, nurturing our physical, mental, and emotional well-being equips us to show up fully for others. When we honor our need for rest, reflection, or creative expression, we replenish the inner reserves that allow us to act with patience and generosity. A balanced, grounded self becomes a source of light, radiating warmth and stability to those around us without draining our own vitality. Consider the transformative power of quiet, selfless acts, volunteering at a community kitchen, tutoring a struggling student, or leaving an encouraging note for a stranger. These actions create ripples that extend far beyond their immediate impact. For instance, a volunteer serving meals at a shelter not only nourishes those in need but also cultivates a sense of purpose and connection within themselves. Similarly, small gestures, like holding space for a friend's struggles or picking up litter in a park, carry the potential to inspire others, sparking a chain reaction of kindness and care. These moments remind us that our choices, however humble, can shift the emotional and spiritual currents of the world. Ultimately, cultivating good karma is an invitation to live with eyes wide open, heart fully engaged, and hands ready to serve. It asks us to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings and to approach each moment as an opportunity to sow seeds of goodness. By embracing intentional living, we not only shape a brighter future for ourselves, but also contribute to a world where compassion and harmony flourish, one mindful act at a time. The true beauty of karma lies not in punishment or retribution, but in its extraordinary capacity for transformation. Negative karma, born from past missteps, toxic habits, or unconscious choices, is not a permanent scar on the soul. Rather, it is an open invitation, a challenge to rise higher, a call to turn pain into purpose, and mistakes into stepping stones for growth. Much like a neglected garden overrun with weeds, our karmic field can be restored through patience, care, and conscious intention. Every act of compassion, every pause in the face of anger, every moment we choose love over fear. These are seeds of redemption. Each one has the power to uproot old patterns and rewrite the narrative of our lives. Transformation begins with the smallest decisions. A breath taken before speaking in haste, a kind word offered where silence once reigned, a deliberate effort to serve others without expectation. These are not just acts of goodness, they are acts of spiritual alchemy, turning the heavy lead of negative karma into the gold of awakened purpose. Importantly, this journey of karmic healing is not solitary. As we evolve, we naturally elevate those around us. Our inner light becomes a beacon, igniting change in families, communities, and ultimately, the world. This ripple effect reminds us, healing is contagious, and transformation multiplies when we walk the path together. But growth requires discernment. Throughout this exploration, we've seen the importance of setting spiritual boundaries, to support others without carrying the burdens that are not ours. Like Atlas condemned to bear the weight of the heavens, we risk spiritual exhaustion when we take on karma that doesn't belong to us. True wisdom lies in compassion, with clarity, giving without attachment, helping without absorbing, loving without losing ourselves. So what can you do moving forward? Live with intention. Let every action, no matter how small, reflect the love and awareness you wish to cultivate in the world. Tend to your inner garden. Nurture self-care, develop wisdom, and remain rooted in your values. Inspire by example. Share your story. Let your transformation become a message of hope to others still lost in the cycle. Honor your boundaries. Remember that the most sacred service you can offer is to walk your path with integrity and truth. In choosing this path, you step into your role not just as a participant in life, but as a conscious co-creator of it. You become a living testament to the truth that no karma is beyond redemption, no past too heavy to heal, and no soul too far from the light. Let your journey be guided by wisdom, empowered by love, and anchored in the awareness that you are the architect of your destiny. Now is your moment. Start anew, forgive deeply, act kindly, and above all, choose the light. Let's rise, together.